Every mammal on Earth is wearing a coat. Fur, wool, bristles, a thick layer of warmth they were born in. Every single one. Except you. Somewhere in our deep past, we did something no other large mammal has done. We took the coat off. And by every rule of survival, that should have killed us. Think about what fur actually does. It holds in heat on a freezing night. It shields the skin from the sun by day. It is armor you never have to take off. And our ancestors gave it up. They walked out into a world of cold nights and burning afternoons, naked. So why? Why would nature strip the coat off the one animal clever enough to miss it? That is the question. And the answer changed what it means to be human. Let's be clear about how strange you really are. Look at a chimp. Look at any of your closest relatives. They are covered head to toe in dense hair. You are not. You still have hair, technically. Your body is covered in tiny, almost invisible strands. But the thick fur? It's gone. You are, in the language of scientists, a naked ape. And losing your fur left a mark buried in your genes. A researcher named Alan Rogers studied a gene called MC1R. It's the gene that controls the color of your skin. Chimps carry many versions of it, but every human alive carries basically one. Because once the fur was gone, bare skin met the African sun. And sunburned skin can kill you. So dark, protective skin swept through our ancestors like wildfire. Rogers calculated when that happened, around 1.2 million years ago. Back when there were maybe 14,000 of us on the whole planet. Long before cities, long before words. We were already naked. So we know roughly when. The hard question is why. And honestly, scientists still argue about it. This isn't a solved mystery. It's a room full of brilliant people holding different pieces of the same puzzle. The frontrunner is almost boring in how simple it sounds. We got hot. For most of our history, our ancestors lived in the shade of the forest. Then the world changed. The forest shrank. The grasslands spread. And our ancestors walked out into the open savanna. Flat, treeless, blazing. In the forest, a coat kept you warm. On the savanna, that same coat could cook you alive. Nina Jablonski, one of the world's experts on skin, put it plainly. Out there, keeping cool mattered more than keeping warm. So, we lost the fur. And we became the sweatiest animal that has ever lived. I need you to sit with that fact because it is wild. You have between 2 and 5 million sweat glands. Your skin can pour out liters of water in a single day. No other animal on Earth cools itself the way you do. A dog can't, it pants. But a bare-skinned, sweating human is a walking cooling machine. And that unlocked something almost unbelievable. There's a scientist named Daniel Lieberman who studies how humans move. And he argues we didn't just survive the heat, we turned it into a weapon. It's called persistence hunting. A human, on foot, chasing an animal across the open plain. The animal is faster, much faster, but it's covered in fur, and it cools itself by panting, and you cannot pant and run at the same time. So the animal has to stop, to breathe, to cool down. And that's when the naked human catches up. And the human keeps coming, walking, jogging, never quitting. Hour after hour under the midday sun until the animal simply overheats. Its body temperature climbs. Its legs give out. It collapses. Not from a spear, from the heat. We didn't outrun our prey. We outsweated it. The naked skin wasn't a weakness out there. It was the deadliest hunting tool on the savanna. But cooling isn't the only theory. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. Another idea says we went bare to fight something you can't outrun. Bugs. Think about what a thick coat of fur really is. It's the perfect hiding place for fleas, for ticks, for lice. And those tiny passengers carry disease. Two researchers, Mark Pagel and Walter Bodmer, argued this. A naked body gives parasites nowhere to hide. Less fur means fewer bloodsuckers and fewer of the sicknesses they spread. And there's a strange clue that backs this up. Of all the primates on Earth, humans are the only one that gets fleas. Because we did something new. We settled down. And a warm, crowded, hairy camp is paradise for parasites. Going bare may have been our first defense against disease. Now Pagel and Bodmer pointed out something clever. You can only afford to lose your fur if you have another way to stay warm. And we did. We had fire. We had shelter. We had the beginnings of clothing. And there's a bizarre way we can date the clothes. Lice. Mark Stoneking discovered that humans have a special kind of louse, the body louse. Unlike every other louse, it doesn't live on your skin. It lives in your clothes, which means it could only appear after clothing existed. So scientists read its DNA like a clock, and it points to somewhere around 100,000 years ago. A parasite, quietly recording the day we first got dressed. And then there's the oldest theory of all, Charles Darwin's. Darwin looked at our bare skin and couldn't explain it by survival. So he guessed it came down to attraction. That smooth skin was simply seen as beautiful. And that beauty got passed down, generation after generation. Maybe there's a piece of truth in it, but even Darwin admitted he was reaching. Now, you may have heard one more idea, that we lost our fur because we went through a watery phase, like dolphins, like whales. Smooth skin for swimming. It's called the aquatic ape hypothesis, and I have to be honest with you, almost no serious scientist believes it. There's no fossil evidence for it. It rests on loose comparisons. Most anthropologists set it aside as a nice story that isn't true. And that honesty matters, because the truth is nobody has proven any single answer. Skin doesn't fossilize. Hair doesn't survive the ages. So every one of these theories is detective work, read from genes, from sweat glands, from lice, from bone. The best guess today is that cooling led the way. But it may have been all of it at once. Cooling, parasites, attraction, tangled together. Here's what I keep coming back to, though. Losing our fur forced a bargain. A naked animal is a fragile animal. Cold nights could kill it. The sun could burn it. So to survive without a coat, we had to become something more. We had to master fire, to hold the warmth fur used to give us. We had to build shelter, to make a coat out of the world around us. We had to sew clothing, to carry warmth on our backs. We had to think ahead, to plan, to cooperate. The naked skin didn't just make us sweaty. It made us inventive. It backed us into a corner where the only way out was cleverness. And maybe that's the real story. We didn't lose the fur and get lucky. We lost the fur and had to become human to survive it. So the next time you shiver on a cold morning and reach for a jacket, remember what that jacket really is. It's the echo of a coat we gave up more than 1,000,000 years ago. A trade so risky it should have ended us. And instead, it set us on the road to fire and cloth and each other. We are the naked animal, the one that got cold and learned to build warmth, the one that got hot and learned to run the world down. We all know that humans lost their fur, but maybe was never the real question. Maybe the real question was why. And the why turns out to be this. Stripped bare and exposed, we had no choice but to get clever and to lean on each other. That's the thing about being human. Go beyond the what and ask the why.